the thing that most people did not know about Frank Sinatra was his generosity. There wasn't a charity, that he wasn't involved in some way in his lifetime. Raised billions of dollars for charities. I once had to introduce him to a crowd. He was getting an award, and I was trying to explain to the crowd that my mother had a plaque in her kitchen that said, "The talent you have is God's gift to you, but what you do with that talent is your gift to God." Frank Sinatra sang his songs and raised millions of dollars, and they built Protestant orphanages, and he's not Protestant. He sang his songs, and they raised billions of dollars, and he built Jewish temples, and he's not Jewish. He sang his songs, and thousands of African-American children went to colleges. He's not African-American. If it's the truth that the talent you have is God's gift to you, but what you do with that talent is your gift to God, I know of no one who did more for their God in my industry than Frank Sinatra. You had to be very careful around him. You couldn't say, gee, I like that watch. He'd take it off and give it to you. You couldn't say, gee, that's a beautiful painting on the wall. He'd take it off and give it to you. One time we were coming out of the Waldorf Astoria in New York City on our way to a gig. Had to go out the back entrance because he had been mobbed if you go out the front. And he had a big apartment at the back of the Waldorf Astoria. So we're coming out of the building, and a woman come running out of the door screaming, "Mr. Sinatra, please, Mr. Sinatra." And the security stopped her. And she's hollering, "Please, Mr. Sinatra." So he turned around and he said, "What is it?" And he walked back to her. She said, "My husband is homesick. He's very ill. If you would sign an autograph, it would mean the world to him." And he said, "Sure." And he signed the autograph, and she said, "Oh, what beautiful cufflinks." And they were $2,000 cufflinks. I know where he got them at. He said, "Thank you." He finished the autograph, and he took the cufflinks off, and he handed them to her. "Give these to your husband." She said, No, I don't want them. I was only admiring them." He said, "No, I want you to have them. I want your husband to have them." Now, we get in the car, and I said, "Frank, that was beautiful. That was wonderful. But why did you do that?" He said, "Tommy, if you possess something that you can't give away, then you don't possess it. It possesses you."
Wow.
I said, "Whoa, I never forgot that. It's okay," he said, "if somebody said, 'Gee, I like your Mercedes-Benz,' and you don't give it to them. But when you're alone in the bathroom and you're shaving, you got to admit to that guy in the mirror, that car owns you because you can't give it away." About 2 weeks later, I'm having a football party at my house on the West Coast. The Bears were playing the Vikings. And Eddie Marinero is a good buddy of mine. He played for the Vikings. So I bring all my Goombas. I had Eddie Marinero and Joe Pesci and Dennis Farina and Frankie Valli and Frankie Avalon and Jimmy Darren and Joe Mantegna and all these guys. All over, and they're all making pasta, and Frankie's making Philadelphia steak sandwiches, and there's sauce all over the ceiling, and But I said, "Gee, I forgot. I got to get some beer and some drinks." And I rushed over to the liquor store, and I had on an NBC hat and an NBC golf shirt that I played in the Lake Tahoe tournament that I really like because the hat and the shirt match. And I run up to the counter, and I'm paying for this stuff. And the guy behind the counter had an accent. He said, "Hey, boss, I like your hat. Nice hat, boss. Could I have your hat?" And I said, "No, it matches my shirt." Now I go outside, and I thought about what I just did. I went back inside, and he had other customers. I set the hat on the counter, and he said, "No, boss, I'm joking. I'm only joking." I said, No, I want you to have the hat because the thought that I hadn't grown enough that a hat possessed me. So Frank Sinatra was always with me with those kind of thoughts.